on the possible actions regarding the Salinas City Council regarding the homeless population that they may take up this afternoon. We may want to consider whether the county has any responsibility or response to that in terms in bringing that back with the county departments that are involved. If we could do that by, we could schedule it next week.
Thank you. Supervisor Salinas, any comments?
That item, Madam Chair, I think it'd be important, or at least to relate to the city, the fact that if we're trying to collaborate and cooperate with the city county, it would have been appropriate, I think, for them to send us some heads up to see what they were thinking of doing, but this could have some really serious impact in terms of dealing with this issue. So I think they ought to at least be aware of our concern.
Thank you. Supervisor Phillips? Thank you. Yeah, I would just reiterate, I think the county has been doing a good job of working with the city of Salinas, and it's a little disconcerting to see the action that they're taking without really any heads up to us about any way to work through these issues. So I appreciate Supervisor Armenta asking that we have a way to talk about how we're going to approach this. Any CAO comments or referrals today? Okay, thank you. We'll move to general public comment. I do have 3 speaker slips. I will start with them, and of course anyone who wishes to speak is welcome to do so. We'll start with Pamela Weston and then Leah Hill.
Good morning, Board. First off, I would like to thank you for the hard work. When you're on the ground, and you know that basically in April 21st, 2016, we went to the Health and Human Service meeting, and we were directed to speak to administration, Manny and Rosemary Soto, and then we met in May 5th. If you remember and recall that I turned in a wish for the Stakeholders Advisory Committee and the direction of the Health and Human Services Department, and with my submission, I had put down that a stakeholder is anyone who's invested in health and welfare of the community, person, entities, or representatives that are part of the effective process. It deals with stakeholders invested in the health and welfare of community administration, service providers, community members, business owners, elected officials, and advocacy team. It's supposed to be dealing with people directly impacted and affected by policies, practices, resources, and funding allocations made by city, county, state, and federal standards. I have come before you to request that we move forward on an appointment by the board for the Stakeholders Advisory Committee so that we can develop a process so that we can give information to all impacted stakeholders. If the ordinance is passed, it will affect and impact county, city, residents, and constituents. And so to be able to create a process, I went to Gloria in social services. I have tried to contact Catherine, and in forwarding you the emails and meeting with you by the direction of Fernando Armenta and Board Supervisor Parker, you toured with me. You saw that I am proactive, and the community residents need to be informed. When they deal with no loitering, when they deal with vulnerability, with no tents, this isn't a way to go. So my position today will be to try to coordinate and work and align and collaborate with the neighborhood and volunteer services so that we can deal with first response. As was outlined by the Stakeholders Community Advisory Committee that I turned in last year. So I asked that it be put on an agenda item and also to be prepared for the inclement weather, because where we were last time was concerned of that process and access to information. But we're better because of the Cobana being open in October for showers, for case management, for the warming shelter to be open in November, and for peer-led people like me to be able to inform, empower, and create a process that deals with community engagement. So my request today is community engagement meetings, information, and response teams. Thank you. With the Stakeholders Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
Hi, West White, Salinas resident, also running for city council, District 4. Also vice president of Monterey County Homeless Union. So this issue right now is about the city ordinance that apparently you guys didn't even know about until Friday, which is pretty dismaying. We've been going over this for over a year now, a year and a half, just on this instance, this cycle. And it's pretty clear and evident that the city is not interested in helping in any way, shape, or form. And that's fine. I don't mind they don't want to help, but I do mind that they want to hurt. And that's what I'm really worried about and concerned about. You know, we've had an encampment in front of City Hall for the last 6 months, specifically because they put in their ordinance and they don't follow their law, that within 72 business hours, there will be a connection to services from a service provider entity, either interim or Shelter Outreach Plus or something. Somebody's supposed to go out and connect them with services. And that's never happened. They've been called on it and they say, oh, you know, sorry, they just couldn't make it. Well, if the service providers can't make it in the time frame that they're pushing for it, they need to wait. They need to wait until the service providers go to every tent, to every person, connect every single person in that encampment with services. And not just a card and say, here, go call them. Because the services are minimal and they mostly turn people away. They do an intake and they turn you away. So that is not providing services. You know, the first rule in the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness says if there is nowhere for people to go, you do not take them out of the encampment they're at. You have to have somewhere for them to go. We have no preparation whatsoever. We don't care. That's basically the message that I'm hearing is we don't care about people who don't pay rent because they're nothing. They're garbage. They don't belong in the city. And you're talking about people that have been born and raised here, and of all places, they expect to die here. Strangely enough, this is their home. A lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of people, and that is a lot of what I hear. So we've been doing this in 6 months because they're not cleaning up after themselves, and now they're going to make another mess, even a bigger mess, and they're going to expect you to clean it up. And they say all this about, well, the homeless, they make a mess and they don't ever clean up after themselves. This is exactly what they're doing, and they're leaving it on your doorstep. It's their responsibility. They even made a promise that they'd take care of people. That's the only way they got this ordinance passed, and now they want to go back on their word. It's shameful. The leadership here is disappointing, terribly disappointing. And that's on the city level, and I'm noticing now that the county is just, it's unfortunate because you guys are supposed to be collaborating, and the city is totally thumbing their nose up to a public process, and we need that public input. I second everything that the Stakeholders Community Advisory said, and I think you do need an appointment there, and we need a public process.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments.